Hey everybody, I'm actually with Traders in the Zone, and today we have another episode of The Average People in Cryptocurrency. So today I am joined by Todd. So Todd, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Well, my name's Todd Canfield. A little bit about my demographics. I'm a 53-year-old male, and I recently left a career in IT, mostly on the infrastructure side. Through that, I kind of developed a decent living. Nothing too robust, but I live within my means. I lived in a pretty much high income area, so basically I lived within my means and I wasn't breaking the bank. So that's kind of how I ended my career.
And when you were working in IT, is that when you first heard about cryptocurrencies?
Well, I was working in IT, so I heard about cryptocurrencies. So it was just during that age when I heard about it. So I think when I first, I don't know exactly what got me interested or kind of into it, but I remember I got off the couch about the 2017 timeframe, right? So it was the summer of 2017, and I decided, okay, I'm going to trying to get involved in it. And so it's kind of hard trying to figure out how to onboard. The onboarding process was kind of hard. Which exchange to get on? So I tried to do some exchanges, and they said, we don't do U.S., and then others. There's a lot of states that weren't allowing exchanges to be involved. So I had a lot of problems to kind of get on the exchanges. And then finally, the other thing is getting your money onto the exchange. So it just took forever. And then you got the summer of 2017, the FOMO fear. Yep. So you're just kind of like freaking out, doing all that kind of stuff. So I finally got in, probably end of August, September, got in. And then I just started putting a little bit of money into maybe $1,000 or something like that every couple of weeks or something like that. And was doing that. The fall went really well, and then December, it was just like I was a baller. I was like, hey, this is great, right? Everything was just going well. Then you had, in December, it crashed, and then started. It's like, oh my god. And then it kind of came down to like January, and it's kind of like, okay, it started going back up, and it's like, okay. Well, I think I started selling when it was going down. After it really went down, but before it went down even farther, and I sold, and then I kind of was, when it was going back up, I said, I'm going to buy back in. And what do they call that, the dead count bounce, or the
correct, yeah.
So anyway, I got back in then, and then after that, I was just like, oh crap, and I just was waiting it out for the spring and the summer, and it just was stagnant. It wasn't going anywhere. So I just kind of forgot about it. I just left it and forgot about it.
And what was your first cryptocurrency?
Well, I got involved in the trio, the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And where do you get your information about cryptocurrency? Are you reading like news articles? Are you reading white papers?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a little bit of background too, where I came from and kind of how I got into it. So, I was trying to get my exit strategy for my career, trying to work on that, and trying to figure out the next steps of what I wanted to do. And in 2019, the summer of 2019, I was heavily I was working more in the stocks, trying to get my stock portfolio going. And the summer and the fall was great. It was, everything was booming and all that was going really well. And I was doing a lot of research on that and trying to get a little involved in options and that kind of stuff. And then the February 2020, right? COVID starts coming and everything crashed. And then when they said, hey, stay home, do whatever. Anyway, I was still working. I did a lot of research on YouTube, all that kind of stuff for my stocks now. But everything was just going crazy. I just wasn't enjoying it. It wasn't really going really well. But at that point in time, because I had nothing else to do, because I was watching all this investment stuff, I got heavily involved in YouTube, or at least watching YouTube, right? So I watched all kinds of content and just everybody doing it, getting involved with the crypto area. And it just ignited my passion again a little bit for it. And so I started really kind of researching into it. And then I just started believing in it and kind of saying, this is where I want to kind of move my money into. And so by the end of that year, I through all that effort, I pretty much put I put a huge investment into it by the end of 2020. And kind of, let it roll after that. And then, you start having it grow and say, hey, this is great. Again, here it's going. And then again, a year ago, April, you went from, 64 to 30, and then it went
Yeah.
down all the way to 30. So you have that peaks again, then it crashes all the way to down. So, but again, most of it I get from YouTube, and then you find some of those speakers, and then they get people on their channel. I watch those guys, and then they refer to other people, so you go on their Twitter feeds and all that kind of stuff. So mostly through that.
So social media, YouTube, the main sources, try and stay up on top.
Yeah.
And are you still working in IT, or are you full-time into investing in cryptocurrencies and stocks?
Right now I'm full-time kind of working on my investments. Yeah.
Okay. So would you recommend that people do what you did when you first started out, like dollar cost average? Or would you recommend that they keep working the 9 to 5 and instead of putting things into like a 401k, they should start looking at different cryptocurrencies?
So that's what I wanted to say was one, start slow, do your research, kind of like, and get your background, because like one of the things I liked is right now you got two big kind of hedge fund guys that are in the market, Raoul Pal and Michael Saylor, right?
Yep.
So those guys, when you do your research, you'll find out what the product is, right? So you're going to find out what Bitcoin is, what Ethereum does, and those two guys give you the reason why it is a need. You know, what is it? What's its purpose? So once you do that, then you kind of find these other guys. Some of these other guys that do the technical analysis and the day-by-day stuff that kind of give you what's the trending of that. So that's the kind of what I would say to kind of get involved with that, but also. Dollar cost averaging is obviously a key, because when I go back, I was like looking back on all these predictions from last year, and everything was great. Because one of the things I was telling you, I don't know if I mentioned the exit strategy, because the dollar cost averaging in is great, but you hear all these predictions, and I'm just like, hey, the Bitcoin halving, we're going to go up, and all these, everybody had all these predictions. It's really great. And then you have Plan B, and he did really good predictions for August, like June, July, August, September, October, and then November didn't do it, and December didn't do it. So you think you're going to make all this money, but you have to have an exit strategy to pull out. And then I go, why do you want an exit strategy? It's just like, and I always go, why do you want it? Because if you're going to be a long-term investor. But when it goes down 50%, you kind of want dry powder, right? The people that talk about the dry powder, where you could say, hey, I pulled some out in case it goes down, because it's still very volatile.
Yep.
And then you want to get in so that you could buy again when it goes lower, right?
Yeah.
So then it goes up. So for me, that's where I'm trying to work on right now. Where my projects now is just try to figure out how to manage my money in that sense. But the other thing when advising people is like, what's your skill set? Because right now in cryptocurrency or the crypto market, there's so many different areas to get involved in. There's mining, there's just investing, there's trading, there's NFTs, there's DeFi, there's staking, field farming. There's the metaverse and kind of doing real estate in there, and then there's play to pay or pay for play and all that stuff in there. So there's a lot of different areas you can make money in, and a lot of that stuff doesn't make sense to me. But the areas that do make sense to me, I try to stay in and get involved in.
Yeah, so dollar cost average, make sure you're staking and actually have an exit strategy, and only invest in what you're actually about.
Yeah.
Don't just blindly throw money at different projects.
Yeah.
And that's perfect, because what projects are you currently interested in?
Well, so the projects I'm in, I'm pretty much in the top 10, the big ones, and I'm not doing. I'm just mostly investing right now. So what I'm also trying to do is get my exit strategy. So what I want to do is find out, exit some of my money, so I could hold it, put it more in stable coins. Because I do, at my age, I want to hold it and do a lot of travel, do a little bit of that. So I have money set on the side. Make sure I'm getting interest on those. And so it's just stable money with good interest. I don't want to put it in fiat as much as I can. So do that. The other part is I'm trying to, you have your, hold, you're never going to let go, but how are you going to secure that, right? So are you going to keep it on the exchange, or are you going to put it in a cold storage? Because you hear about Canada and all these places where they're locking up your money. So you want to have security in that, but also you want to keep it on some of the exchanges to get
the rewards
yep. and all that other kind of stuff. So I'm trying to do that, but then I'm also going to take some money aside too and do it for play. So find some new projects that come along, do a little bit of research, kind of put your little moon bags in or whatever new projects and hold those, and then also maybe do a little trading here and there with that.
Yeah, and I mean, you've been in almost all the markets, so I assume you like precious metals like gold, silver. You've done the traditional thing like stocks, and now your new thing since 2017 has been cryptocurrency. If you could change one thing you've done since 2017, what would it be when it comes to cryptocurrency or investing?
Have your plan.
Have your plan?
Because the reason, and I've worked with a handful of guys, and greed gets in the way of things, and fear gets in the way of things. I had a guy that was doing really well, or he started going down, but he goes, he's chasing after bad money, and so then he just was losing money. But then also it's good. Like when it was going up to the top, it's like, it's going to keep on going, and then all of a sudden it crashes. So it's that stick to your plan where you have exit strategies, so that you could pull some out and then invest it later whenever you need to.
Awesome. Well, Todd, thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions for Todd, please leave them in the comments down below, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.